Hello, it's January the 5th and this is a vlog which may be on the coldest day of the year, I don't know. It's -20 outside this morning and so I've had to leave the fan heater on. Hopefully the sound of that, the white noise of that, is not going to be too much of an irritant. So what am I going to talk about? Okay, first of all, taking stock of my YouTube/Patreon efforts in the last 12 months. To recap, I've actually been a YouTuber for 2.5 years, maybe 3 years now, and I started off doing poetry, reading my poems essentially as they were written, as they were finished, and then I started to do musical interludes between verses, or musical kind of accompaniment in the background, some ambient sort of stuff, and as I got more confident, this was during the COVID-19 lockdown, as I got more confident in my guitar playing, well, and as it improved, and bass playing too in particular, I started to then produce some basically music videos, and I had a mixture then on a channel called Dikran Marsupial. At some point about a year ago I decided to split off the music, and I moved all the music videos to a new channel called Dikran Marsupial Music. That's what you're watching now. The old channel is where the poetry is, and I don't write as much poetry these days because I'm more concerned with the music. And I didn't know what kind of music I really wanted to play, so I was exploring all kinds of things, from traditional mining ballads to American folk songs by Gordon Lightfoot and others, British folk songs by people like Sandy Denny, blues, some rock, bit of jazz. But where I've actually ended up, where I am now, is I'm playing jazz rock or progressive rock, or all three together. And for people who weren't around when this first arrived, progressive rock basically means things like Genesis, Yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, a whole bunch of others. It's not jazz rock fusion. Jazz rock fusion are things like Weather Report, the Mahavishnu Orchestra, Return to Forever, some stuff by Herbie Hancock. Progressive rock really is something that's it's more than just 12-bar blues. It generally contains the English aesthetic in the lyrics, at least. It's quite often very long tracks, sometimes an entire side of a vinyl LP. What else? Odd time signatures, themes or concepts. So it's not about I love you, you love me, and how great is my car. It's about other stuff. It became deeply unfashionable when punk arrived, and was the thing that punk pointed the finger at as bloated dinosaur kind of versions of rock music. But it's never gone away, and so I seem to be in the progressive rock / jazz field. That's what, if you look back at the last 6 months, that's basically what I've been producing. I'm not a good enough or knowledgeable enough musician to do pure jazz, or not very much of it anyway. I don't think I am. Okay, so that's all about me and my music. What else is going on? I've been listening to science fiction book reviews, and also a couple of interviews actually, with a guy called Cixin Liu, who wrote The Three-Body Problem, which is actually a trilogy of books. And I found it just a game changer in terms of the imagination that a science fiction author could have about the future and about encounters potentially with aliens from other star systems. Brilliant book. The guy himself is very humble and sort of portrays himself as a standard mainstream science fiction writer, although he talks entirely in Mandarin in the interviews. Of course they're subtitled. Reading The Three-Body Problem, which was just something somebody recommended to me, made me think something, I need to be involved in something here, because it seems to me that if just like 20% of what he's imagining actually turns out to be true, then as a planet we're utterly unprepared. I won't go into many more details here, but suffice it to say that I've involved myself in an organisation called SETI, specifically the UK branch of SETI, and specifically looking at post-detection scenarios, looking at the risks of what might happen here on Earth if a detection of an extraterrestrial intelligence outside of our solar system in particular, if that's confirmed, what actually will happen in terms of people's behaviour, the behaviour of groups like churches, politicians, zillionaires, governments, the UN, etc., etc. So I'm leading a risk assessment study on that in association with St Andrews University. So I'm a sort of postdoc. And the people are great. The people I'm working with are a really interesting and varied group of scientists, social scientists, linguistics experts, anthropologists, philosophers, lawyers, all kinds of people. And we generally meet on Zoom, you know, online. Anyway, that's a side issue. So that's something that I do alongside my creative music efforts. And I also do guitar repairs, as you may have seen. Some of the videos here are all about repairing or restoring old guitars, and I filmed some of those efforts. Meantime, it's now post New Year. I went to an all-nighter solstice celebration and was just about recovered from the sleep pattern disruption when along came New Year, and my 10-year-old daughter insisted that she had now a right to stay up, and we stayed up till 3 or 3:30. I have now recovered from that second blow to my sleep pattern, and I'm now sleeping normally, which is a bit of a relief. And what else? Hang on, I made a couple of notes. Yeah, guitar visuals. So I've also written down, and I'll come back to it, Dressed to Impress and Moorcock's Dancers at the End of Time. Okay, so a big thing that's happening in our house is that my daughter is now really interested in things on her iPad, computer and smartphone. She's become a player of games like Dressed to Impress, as well as Roblox, Tokaboka, Brookhaven, I lose count of them, Minecraft. And thinking about it, I also am spending a lot of my time doing things on the computer, online, which didn't even exist when I was a teenager, even a young adult. They didn't exist. But now I have YouTubers that I follow, YouTubers that I watch quite a lot of their stuff. People like John Rogers, the Englishman who does walks in London and East Anglia and places around London. Fascinating. History, psychogeography. A favourite pair of guitar repairers who I think are really wonderful, and they both happen to be Canadians. One he calls himself Dave's World of Fun Stuff. He's a Canadian called Dave Raum. And the other one is Ted Woodford, also in Canada, who's just the best woodworker and has the most driest sense of humour. Anyone could watch those and be entertained, whether you care about guitars or not, I think. Yeah. I still watch a little bit of Mary Spender's videos because she was initially my role model as a British guitarist, songwriter, operating 100% on YouTube. She's now done a tour, a British tour, where she lost about £15,000, even though she sold plenty of tickets. The music industry has changed. And one of the guys I follow a lot now is a guy called Andy Edwards, who's a music commentator from Kidderminster in the Midlands. Very funny man, extremely knowledgeable man, music educator, philosopher, comedian. I think I maybe spend 3 or 4 hours a day at least looking at these things. Things I wonder what I did before I even had a computer. I'm not sure. Yeah, so Moorcock's Dancers at the End of Time, that's again a science fiction thing, written some time ago, but Michael Moorcock wrote this trilogy where he imagined a far future where people had nothing to do in terms of work. Robots and AI systems did everything for them. So people's lives became a sort of social milieu of hosting dinner parties and other kinds of parties where you would show off your latest creations, light sculptures and such things. And it occurs to me how we are moving towards that. And you know, a world where we're all watching each other's YouTube videos of our latest creative efforts is not far from the Dancers at the End of Time. We'll see in the next few years what actually happens. What else was I going to talk about? Guitar aesthetics, that was the other thing, yeah. So I got hold of a Les Paul studio matte black guitar. I've mentioned it on videos, and it's all too black for me. It was the right price, and it plays exactly like a Les Paul Standard. The Les Paul Standard costs a lot more because it's got more features, aesthetic features, like binding, like nicer inlays and that kind of thing. But it's a good guitar, I like it, but it's just a bit too overwhelmingly black. And I find that has become so important that I'm willing to spend extra money now to brighten it up, to change the all black face of the guitar to black and cream. I'll be doing a video about that when the parts arrive, because I had to send off for them. Genuine shops these days carry so little that you're kind of forced, if you have a very particular tastes and needs, you're forced to shop online. Okay, that's enough for now. I've rambled on enough for now. So Happy New Year to everyone, a little bit late, and check out my music videos as they appear. If you would. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.